friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 10th of April and the topic which we are going to discuss is climate crisis and its impact on women. Global warming or climate change is a fact. 2023 was the hottest year on record. The predictions are the same for 2024. The average temperatures are going to surpass the average temperatures of 2023. Now, in all this, there has been a particular section of the society which will be adversely impacted, and that is women. Global warming or climate change leads to reduced agricultural yield, and in those households where agricultural yield is reduced, women are undernourished or malnourished. They are more prone to domestic violence in those houses. Global warming or climate change is causing scarcity of water, so women have to go and collect water and walk miles per day, which will consume their time and energy and will not let them participate in the economic activities. It has a considerable amount of impact on their health, especially the pregnant women. Heat strokes can impact their pregnancies, their life, as well as the life of their child, which is in their body, can be impacted due to that. Like this, multiple impacts are there which are caused on the women due to climate change, which is unheard of. So let's get started and see what is there in this particular topic. Now, why we are discussing this topic, we need to know a little bit background of this. And this topic, you would be surprised that has a connection with the Great Indian Bustard topic which we did, in which the Supreme Court, while considering the demands of central government and the state governments, has said that, a committee will be formed which will be discussing about the laying of electricity lines or electricity cables in the states of Rajasthan and Gujarat. Now, in that particular case, Supreme Court has given a judgment that people of India have a right to be free from the adverse effects of climate change and the right to a clean environment. Basically, this is part of Article 21. Article 21 is right to life. And this is the most interpreted fundamental right which is there in our set of fundamental rights in the Constitution. Now, in this article, right to life, that is Article 21, there are multiple interpretations. You will be having a good life if you have good access, or if you have access to clean water, clean drinking water, if you have access to clean air. Those are interpreted rights. And now another interpretation has been added by the Supreme Court in the list, and that interpretation is that people have a right to be free from the adverse effects of climate change. Now, UPSC can be very smart and ask you this in the prelims, that which of the following are interpreted rights under Article 21, and can give you this as well. Now, on this particular interpretation, there was an editorial in today's newspaper where that writer or that author was talking about the adverse impact of climate change on women. And, you might be thinking, sir, what is this? Is this also, an angle to see climate change or global warming? Yes, it is. Because climate change or global warming is the reason responsible for multiple disasters which are happening, which we call them climate-induced disasters. Droughts happen, floods happen, cyclones come. All these can be linked to global warming or climate change. And the United Nations Development Program says that women and children are 14 times more likely than men to die in a disaster. This is basically their finding. And if these disasters are coming due to climate change, so obviously climate change is impacting the lives of women. Now, the first domain where global warming or climate change has had its impact is agriculture. See, women are employed in agriculture sector, no doubt about the fact. Especially if I talk about India. The males from rural areas have migrated to urban areas in search of work. They are there doing the works. And the females staying back and doing agriculture over there. And, climate change or global warming is impacting agriculture. Climate-driven crop yield reductions are there. Like, for example, if heat waves come, the wheat crop will be destroyed right now, which is ready to be cultivated. And it has happened in the past. If floods come, crops get destroyed. So the agricultural, I would say, yield or agricultural productivity is basically increasing with climate change or global warming, which is leading to food insecurity. And in a household, if you see in rural areas, since we are living in a patriarchal society, a woman cooks the food, serves it to the entire family, and if the food is left, she eats, she consumes. But what if the food is less? due to these kind of disasters. She will become more, I would say, prone to such kind of insecurities. Now, within small and marginal landholding households, those households which are having very small land holdings, while men face social stigma due to unpaid loans, because they take loans to do their activities and they are not able to repay them. So they face that stigma, leading to migration, emotional distress, and sometimes even suicide they commit. What women experience is, women experience higher domestic work burdens, worse health, and greater intimate partner violence. Because mental health is disturbed over here of the males, they went it out on their females. So this is a finding. In fact, when compared to the districts without droughts in the past 10 years, the National Family Health Survey 4 and 5 data showed that women living in drought-prone districts were more underweight, experienced more intimate partner violence, and had higher prevalence of girl marriages. So this was seen or witnessed in the drought-prone areas according to the National Family Health Survey. So that is a fact, or that is something, a data set which can prove this, that women are facing these kind of problems due to droughts, and droughts happen due to climate change. So it is the impact of climate change on women. Now next is extreme weather events and gender-based violence. Extreme weather events like heat waves happen, or droughts happen, floods happen, cyclones come. So these are termed as extreme weather events. The world is witnessing an increasing frequency of extreme weather events and climate-induced natural hazards. A report from the Council on Energy, Environment and Water in 2021 found that 75% of Indian districts are vulnerable to hydromet disasters. Hydromet disasters, floods, droughts and cyclones. NFHS 5 data showed that over half of women and children living in these districts were at risk. So again, National Family Health Survey is saying that studies are increasingly showing a direct correlation between these natural disasters and gender-based violence against women. Rapes happen or physical torture happens. So this all is there. Also, extreme weather events and subsequent changes in water cycle patterns severely impact access to safe drinking water, which increases the drudgery. Means these women, they do this free labor, go walk miles, search water and then carry that water on their heads and come back. Reduces time for productive work. They will not be able to participate in any economic activity. And healthcare of women and girls is also impacted in this way. So all these are basically the impacts on women due to extreme weather events, and these extreme weather events happen due to climate change or global warming. Next, very interesting, is impact on health of women due to climate change. So prolonged heat or heat waves, since the days are here almost, is dangerous for pregnant women, increasing the risk of preterm birth and eclampsia. Young children and the elderly are also impacted, but yes, women are more impacted. And just imagine a situation if a pregnant woman is there and she is the sole woman in the household as of now, and water is not available in the household. She has to walk miles, having a baby in her womb, and get the water. So obviously, her health will be impacted, and not only her health, but the baby in the womb will also be impacted. Now, similarly, exposure to pollutants in the air, because the air is getting polluted, PM 2.5, PM 10, these kind of pollutants are, I would say, more impacting the health of the people. So they are impacting the health of women also. So let's see certain facts over here. See, it affects women health, the exposure to pollutants. So I talked about PM 2.5 and PM 10. Apart from PM 2.5 and PM 10, let's suppose those areas or those households in which access to clean cooking fuel is not there. They are cooking on the chulas. So that will be a big problem. This will cause a lot of indoor pollution. Respiratory diseases will be there. So respiratory and cardiovascular diseases are quite found in the in women. Then emerging data from cohort studies in India show that for every 10 microorganisms per cubic meter increase in PM 2.5, the risk of lung cancer increases by 9%. The risk of cardiovascular deaths on the same day by 3% and stroke by 8%. So for dementia, the risk increased by 4% for 2 micrograms increase in annual PM 2.5. So this is basically what PM 2.5 can do. It can increase the risk of, I would say, heart diseases, or strokes or lung cancer, which obviously are, all fatal diseases kind of. Not only the women, but children are also impacted due to this. Now, next is why climate action needs women. Since climate change is impacting their lives, so action also needs to be taken by them. But actually, why them only? It needs participation of 100% of the people. But specifically talking about women, because women are severely impacted, so women should raise up. And if women decides to do anything, she does it better than men. This is what has been found. So climate action actually requires 100% of the population to be, fighting against it. If we have to achieve that goal of 1.5 degrees Celsius, 1.5 degrees Celsius goal, we all know that by 2100, the average global temperatures should not exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius from the pre-industrial level temperatures, and pre-industrial level temperatures are 1850 to 1900, these 50 years average temperatures. So it is like this. Now, at the same time, empowering women means better climate solutions. When provided with the same access to resources as men, women increase their agricultural yields by 20 to 30%. So this clearly means that they are better performers than men. If women participate in climate actions, then obviously, it can be a possibility or high chances that better results are delivered. Tribal and rural women in particular have been at the forefront of environmental conservation. Like we've seen in multiple movements also, like there was a very famous movement in the 1970s, 60s, 70s in Uttarakhand, present day Uttarakhand, at that time it was UP, the Chipko movement, in which a multinational company was awarded, a license to work over there and establish its operations. And, for that a lot of trees had to be cut. So women in that, Paudi Galwal region, they, hugged the trees. Chipko means they chipak gaye the wo trees se. And, those people were not able to cut those trees. That was a successful movement, and that is where women have, participated in such kind of movements in the country as well. Now, giving women and women collectives like self-help groups or farmer producer organizations the knowledge, tools, and access to resources, it would encourage local solutions to these global problems. That is why the Prime Minister is so keen on promoting women's self-help groups. The Prime Minister is so keen on, expanding that program of drone didis. Because if we include women in all these things, then definitely, more empathetic actions can be taken. Women, since they are at the receiving end of climate change or global warming, and when they are there at the forefront of climate action, then the results definitely can be better. However, this does not mean that men should not be there. Men should also be there. 100% of the population should be contributing for that. So this is basically what we need to understand. Now, the MCQ on this: which of the following is not an interpreted right under Article 21 of the Constitution? Right to clean air, right to clean water, right to be free from the adverse effects of climate change, right to privacy. So we have to mark. Then, which of the following are probable impact of climate change on women? Increased health vulnerabilities, increased risk in pregnancy, intimate partner violence. So among these three, which of the following are there? So you have to mark the correct one.